for joining me today. So my name is Aurora Bowkett and I am a yoga, Pilates and movement teacher. My style, if you don't know me, is very integrated. I like to move and combine a lot of different movement techniques, a lot of different movement styles to give our bodies and our minds the most varied approach to learning and to strengthening and to gaining access to our full range of mobility, flexibility, and just being able to do everything that we are capable of, allowing ourselves to keep expanding and learning new things. So today I'm going to be taking you through a balance flow. So this is, I've chosen this theme for a couple of reasons. It's one of my favourite themes to actually create classes and workshops around, because for me, everything in our body is about balance. It's about balance between passive, it's about passive and active, our yin and our yang, finding the calm and the more dynamic, the more driven. It's also about finding that balance between the body and the mind. So not just being super physical, but also maybe finding that mental space, that mental capacity to bring into our practice. And even more importantly, with everything that is going on in the world at the moment, I think this theme of balance and staying within this equilibrium, finding this state of pure being and just finding our balance within ourselves is so important right now, so that we don't get caught up in anxiety, or we don't get caught up in feeling anxious or feeling upset or feeling claustrophobic or worried, and all of these things which can send us out of balance, which can send us spiraling and moving into places which potentially aren't all that healthy for us. So I have put together this grounding flow. We're going to be really working into finding a connection into the floor, into the earth. You will need 2 blocks if you have them. If you don't have 2 blocks, don't worry. You just need something that you can maybe stand on to begin with at the beginning. We're going to be doing some grounded balance work. You also might need something that you can put a little bit of weight into. So if you have some maybe thick hardback books, that's quite useful. Maybe you might even have, a little step or something that's quite low off the ground that you can work with. And yeah, that's all you'll really need for this class. You also, if you have a mat, grab a mat. If not, just stick something comfortable on the floor so you're not hurting or putting any heavy pressure into your knees. And towards the end, we will be potentially using a little bit of wall space. I'm going to be giving some options for some wall, for using the wall. So what we might do is, if you have got some wall space, please clear it now before we begin, and make sure that you have, even if it's just your waist, your height, your width, make sure that you've got that. If you don't worry, I'm going to be giving all options for centre work as well, but it's just to kind of add a full variety of movement. It's nice to use all of the props that we have available. So if you do have that, make sure that you've got it clear. And that's about it. So I always like to begin the practice or my workshops with a little bit of breath work and with a little bit of connection to the body, because I think that focus within the mind is something which is really important, and actually we can then take through into our practice, we can take through into our physical movements and really utilise that connection between breath and body, between breath and engagement, between breath and just being fully integrated and connected within ourselves. So I'd like you to find a comfortable seat. You can sit on a block if you need, or just flat onto the ground. You can even stay kneeling or do this sat in a chair if it's also more comfortable in your hips or in your lower body. I'm going to take a cross-legged position here. And we're going to begin with a pranayama or a breath practice called Nadi Shodhana. So this is alternate nostril breathing. And what we're doing here is we're beginning to access the full, or both sides of our body, our left and our left brain, our right brain, our masculine and our feminine, and we're balancing them out. We're feeling where is more blocked, or which side is potentially more blocked, and we're beginning to try and find that balance, that equilibrium between the two. It's also quite an interesting scientific fact. We tend to, throughout the days, only breathe mainly through one nostril. So you tend to focus, and which is why when you do this practice, you might find that one nostril is a little bit more blocked than the other, and it does change. It differs throughout the day. And in a philosophical way, that is, it's been linked to the idea that maybe if your masculine side is a little bit, or your masculine energy of your body is a little bit more heightened, or is more energized, or is working at a slightly higher level, then that side, or your that side of your breath, or your nostril breathing will be more open than vice versa. So it's quite interesting to see what's going on in the body. So I like to use it daily, but just so that I feel and I can test to see where my body is, to see where my mind maybe is, without me even realizing it on that unconscious level. So we're going to begin. If you have this practice and you are aware of it, and you can just begin and get started, we're going to do between 10 to 15 rounds. Otherwise, I'll talk you through it for the first 5, and then I'll leave you to continue for the final few that we're going to do. So I want you to take for me your thumb and your fourth finger, or your ring finger. And I want you to take your thumb, so we're going to use the right hand. I want you to take your thumb and I want you to place it over your right nostril. So you're just going to cover this right nostril here, and I want you to have your ring finger ready and hovering just outside your left. And from here, we're going to take a full breath in through your left nostril. Now, I'm not going to give specific counts. I want this to be as full and as long as you can make it, and I want you to try and equalize this. So I want you to make each inhale and exhale of the same, and pause, because we're going to have some pauses of a similar length if you can. So I'm going to use an approximation of around 4 counts. If you want to do longer, please feel free. If you want to do shorter, or you need to shorten the breaths, please also do that as well. Remember, this is your practice, this is your time. So we're going to place that thumb over the right nostril, closing the eyes, and I want you just to simply draw a full breath in through the left nostril. Place your ring finger over your left nostril and hold this breath inside. And then removing the thumb over your right nostril, we're going to exhale out. Pausing at the bottom, breathing, before we inhale in through the right nostril. Holding at the top, covering that right nostril with your thumb. And then removing the ring finger, or your fourth finger, exhale out through the left. And pause at the bottom. Inhale through the left. Pause, blocking both. Exhale through the right. And pause at the bottom. Inhale. Hold that breath. Exhale through the left. And hold that breath at the bottom. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And just continue this now for the next 5 to 10 rounds. Just feeling this movement in through the right, in through your left, and out through your right, in through your right, and out through your left. Holding and pausing at the top of each inhale and exhale. And when you've done your 10 to 15 rounds, just allowing the hands to fall into the lap. And just feeling this full inhale and exhale into the body. Feeling this calm that might be or might have moved in through the use of your breath. And also maybe feel how much easier it is to maybe inhale. So if you had any blockages within your nasal passages, within your sinuses, feel that now maybe this breath is able to enter a little bit clearer, a little bit easier. And then slowly just opening the eyes. Allow yourself to slowly roll over your feet or your shins and come and bring yourself into a hands and knees position. And in this position, I want you just to begin to find a nice connection into the ground. Good. We're going to tuck the toes, so we begin to feel this work into the feet. A lot of balance work, especially when we're standing, is down to the connection of our feet, is down to the use of our feet, and any appendage or any parts of our body that's connected. So it's really important to feel this work. And I just want you to begin to just circle through your body here, connecting the palms, connecting the toes and the feet. Good. Pulling the lower belly up and in, and just shifting back and forth. Moving through the palms here, moving through the shoulders, just allowing yourself to breathe. And then maybe as you do this, allow yourself to lift your knees up and down. It's one of my favourite ways to warm up through the body because you begin to feel the shift of weight. And again, I just want you to begin to play with this balance, play with this movement of your body in the space, maybe creating some gentle twists, maybe even challenging the core by keeping the knees lifted the whole time. Feeling this now move into the shoulders, into the back, beginning to take a lot of this weight into your hands, your feet. And then slowly, as we begin to explore all of the ranges within our body, within our movements here, I want you to begin to release the feet or the legs back down. And just begin to once more find this connection into your core. So draw the lower abdominals up. Allow the scapulas or the shoulder blades to just sit nice and flat into the back. Knit your ribs to your hip bones. So we're squeezing in, finding this engagement into our body, into our deep abdominals here. And then we're going to begin to play with some shifting of weight. So I want you to lift up onto your left fingertips. And I want you to take your right leg back and behind you. And from here we can just stay. Straight away you're going to feel the weight now shifting further into our right, and our right hand and our left foot. Note if you've started to collapse or move in the body. And then maybe try and take that left arm out. Again, breathe here, knit through the ribs. Maybe try and lift that right leg up. Find an extension through the back of the leg. Try not to dip into the pelvis. Keep knitting the hips to the ribs. We're just going to work this activation into the center. And then we're going to slowly release back down. I'm going to do that on the other side now. Lift up onto the fingertips of that right leg, that right hand. Maybe extend that left leg back and long. Keep knitting up. Maybe try and lift the right arm off. Maybe try and draw that left leg long. And again, knit through the core. Draw the lower belly in. Squeeze the hips to the ribs to the hips. Find this engagement into the back of the leg. And then release it down. Really nice. And from here, we're going to begin to shift the weight into that right hand, lifting up onto our left fingertips. And we're going to start to extend that right leg back nice and straight. From here, point the toe, open your left arm out, and come into this balancing posture, feeling this this grounding through the palm of your right hand and your left foot and shin. Good. From here now we're going to begin to draw the knee in. Then we're going to begin to draw it out. Wonderful. We're going to play with this again. We're going to draw it in. And we're going to draw it out. And just find this balance, find this release. into the body. Keep lifting up through the lower abdominals. Keep knitting the ribs into your hips. Good, finding this little squeeze. And now what we're going to do, we're going to begin to maybe play with taking the arm, the leg out, and then forward. Maybe taking it out. Good. Maybe feeling how this begins to shift a little bit more. Draw it back in, and maybe fully circling. Good, drawing it in, and then fully circling. And then maybe taking it the other way. Good. So now we're starting to draw these circles with the body. Really nice. A few more times. Fantastic. Now from here, I want you to draw that knee in. We're going to try and begin to shift back and maybe extend the leg out. We're going to start to walk back and extend forward. Now if you can't fully lift, that's fine. You can even place the foot onto the ground and then try and lift that leg up. Otherwise, play with this little transition. Draw the knee in. Try and find that shift into that left leg. Lift yourself up. Release it down. And then reach. Good. Last time. We're really working the core here. Lifting up, 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 up. Really nice. Extend. Release it down. And then drop. Fantastic. And we're going to do the other side. So I do like to play with a little bit of balance like this. It's always quite fun. So we're going to now begin to shift our weight into our left arm. Lift up onto the right fingertips. Same way, extend that left leg back. You can point or flex the toe. And then begin to lift it up. Again, draw up through the lower belly. And we're just going to begin to move through this gentle extension and flexion of the hip, the knee, the shoulder. Really nice. Just trying to find this integration through the body. Make sure that you're not overly dumping into the lower back. Keep lifting here as you extend that leg back. Nice. A few more times. And then maybe we can begin to take that arm out and the leg round. And then back. Take it out. And then back. Good. A few more times here. Out. And then back. Out. And then back. Maybe begin to draw it in, extend it out, and back. In, extend it out, and back. In. Good. Extend it out. Just feeling this weight shift, maybe reverse. Fantastic. So you're really going to feel this movement of the hip. You're going to feel this integration into your left back of thigh, your hamstring, your glute, but also this stabilization within that right hip. So the right glute is working a lot to stabilize, as is the left shoulder. One more time, sit, draw it in, and now we're going to maybe try and lift into that kneeling, and then, release it back down. Good. And we're going to do that again. We're going to lift it up, try and move here, find that balance, and then slowly release it back. Last time, draw it up, extend that leg out, breathe here, draw it back, and extend. Fantastic. And then from here we're going to release, and just begin to untuck the toes, release back into your child's pose. Feel this lovely shift through the shoulders, the hips. Really good. From here we're going to plant the hands down. We're going to ripple forward, lift up onto the toes, draw the hips towards the sky. Maybe walk out through the feet. And then we're going to start to walk the feet slowly towards the hands. Again, just feeling this little shift of weight from the lower body in towards the upper body. And then I feel this grounding through the feet, through the soles. Release the knees, take a gentle release forward. You can even gently bounce maybe through the hips, through the backs of the thighs. And then we're going to unravel all the way up and into your standing position here. Fantastic. So now we're going to begin to move. I'm going to take you through another little balancing sequence. And this time we're going to work with our blocks at the front of your mat. So this is where you're going to need whatever you have as a prop to maybe stand on to take some weight into. So what I want you to do is we're going to start with one. And I'm going to turn to face you, but you guys stay at the front of your mat, that's absolutely fine. And we're just going to begin with one block to start. So just step one across to the side. We're going to use that in a little bit. I want you just to place your left foot onto this block here. I want you to feel a little bit of a sink into that right foot. Even just feel this hip begin to stick out to the side. And feel how this is all turned off in the glute. We're kind of collapsing a little bit into that right side body. Now from here, I want you to begin to press down through that left foot and begin to maybe shift the weight fully into that left side. And as we here, maybe draw that right hip up. And then we're going to slowly sink and sink. And then we're going to press and lift. And we're going to sink and sink. So we're just beginning to work into an activation of our pelvis here, our activation of our glutes, and then nothing. Lifting, active, passive, collapse. Good. One more time. Press and link. Now hold it here. Hold this link. You can even maybe draw that right ankle in towards your left. And you can just hold it here, feeling how we're having to really integrate and support through that left hip, trying to keep the feet at the same angle. And just holding ourselves here, you can really feel this left hip working. Really nice. So now from here, all I want us to do is we're going to start to circle this right leg. So we're going to really try and integrate into this left side. Find this balance. Use your breath. And then we can maybe begin to try and draw a bigger circle now. And I want you to feel what happens in the body. So as we begin to maybe create a little bit of off balance. So this might be your environment. This might be things that are going on in your life. This movement, which is throwing us off, which is trying to cause us to lose our balance, to lose our integration. And I want you to feel how the body, if you allow it, is able to counter that, even if you start to really move or flow in this way. Good. The body is able to catch you. It's able to save you in all of this space, in all of these movements. So just play with this. Play with this action. And don't be afraid to take it to an extreme place, a place where you might fall, a place where you might not catch yourself, because that's okay as well. Like, we fall, we make mistakes. And in doing that, in doing this, what you're learning, there, I went too far. So now I know next time I stop before that. My body is learning to stop there before I fall again. Good. Now slowly, drawing that foot back, I want you to begin to lift that right knee. Try and right yourself. Come into an upright position. Good. We're going to draw that right knee up into chest, and we're just going to hold it here. We're going to feel that left leg maybe burning a little bit now. Keep drawing up to the belly, and all I want you to do is to begin to drop, bend. Good. Try and sink. And then we're going to extend away. Now take your left finger, place it into your left hip, and we're going to bend. And I want you to try and keep a space. So even as we bend forward, we're not collapsing, we're lifting out of this hip. And lift. One more time. Oh, hello glutes. Keep lifting out of that left hip, drawing the abdominals away. Good. Lift back up. And then release. Allow that leg to drop away. Maybe you circle that left ankle. Maybe even just give yourself a little bit of a shake, a little bit of a movement with that left leg. Awesome. And now we're going to do the other side. So I want you to take now your right leg onto that block. And the same thing, we're just going to chill out on that left leg. Create this nice compression, this release. So we stand like this often, don't we? We stand in this kind of imbalanced position where a lot of our weight is kind of destabilized. It's hanging out in this left side. So I want you to begin to feel as you press out of that, feel this lift. If we maybe sink and sink, and we're going to do that again. We're going to press, and we're going to lift. Feel that strength, that pull through the body to then sink and sink. And just do this a couple of times. Lift, engage, to relax, release, nothing. One more time, press, lift, pull in, sink, sink. Fantastic. From here, press down, lift, and we're going to hold now. And again, find this. You might have this might be slightly more tricky than the other side. It might be easier. I know my right side is generally a little bit weaker than my left for balance. It's my non-dominant leg to stand on, so it's very much used to mobility and moving, but it's not very good at isometric and holding there. So this could just be a challenge, just in itself, just staying here. Breathe, but from this position, I want you to begin to maybe now circle that left leg. And again, keep lifted, keep engaging. You can place that thumb into that right glute if you can. Maybe start to make that circle a little bit bigger. And again, maybe start to play now with how the body begins to counter, begins to support. So we're using the stability in this pelvis to hold ourselves in all of these movements, to stay standing, to stay integrated. This is what we do in our daily life. We're never just still. Very rarely are we just still. In some way, we're always moving, especially as we're walking around, we're bending, squatting, standing on tiptoes to get something out of our cupboard. And the pelvis, the muscles in our glutes, in our deep abdominals, in our legs, in our back, they're all working to stabilize us. Our ankles, our calves, they're all working here to hold us in this space and to make sure that no matter where we go, we're able to stay strong, you know? Good. A few more times. And then slowly, if you need to come off that ankle, please feel free. Otherwise, stay lifted. From here, draw that left foot in. And now we're going to squeeze that left thigh up towards your chest, pulling in through the lower belly. And then we're going to slowly begin to drop it down. And again, take that right hand this time into the right hip. Keep that space. Good. Feel that right glute work. Draw yourself up. And then squat it back. Again, testing our balance here. And if you need to place the foot onto the floor, you can. So there is no right or wrong with this. If you need to adapt or modify, please do. Grab hold of a wall. Move this by a wall if you need. Good. 2 more. And down. Whew. Last time. Draw yourself up. Lift. And then release. And just circle out through that right ankle, through that right hip. You can even move. So I used to do a lot of kind of pigeon work to release out of the glute, and you can do that, but I also just like to do it through an active circle with the hip here. So you're not just moving into another held passive stretch, but creating movement and mobility, fluidity in your body. Good. And then slowly releasing out. Now, we're going to take one more thing with the blocks. And this time I want you to take both of them. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. You're going to take both of them next to each other around hip-width distance. And in this position, what I want you to feel is that the balls of your feet are connected. Try not to put back like I am. Are connected into the blocks or whatever you're standing on, but your heels are free. Now, the further on you come, so the further or the more of your foot which is connected here, the more supportive this is going to be. If you want to challenge your balance, if you want to challenge the strength in your legs, then feel free to take that foot even further back. So you can see here, I've literally just got my toes pretty much on these blocks. And it's really quite challenging not to send the weight too far back. Good. Now in this position, I want you to begin to pull that lower belly in, so pull the lower belly in, scoop out through the abdominals and feel the ribs drawing into your belly, down and towards your hips. Yes. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to do some gentle lifts and lowers of the ankles. So what you're going to begin to work through is a little bit, try not to do it too, too big. What you're going to feel here, especially after all of that balancing where the ankles are working a lot, is maybe it's going to be a little bit of neurological block. There's going to be something in the body that's going, no, I don't want to work like this. Stop it. What are you making me do? And if that's the case, just move really slowly and find this breath. It's like when we reach a point of resistance sometimes, emotionally or mentally. Actually, often all we need to do is we just need to slow it down. We just need to focus our breath into our body. And we just allow ourselves to move as gently and as easily through these movements. So I want you just to do this. So you can begin to just do tiny little raises, or begin to now move a little bit more into full calf raises. And again, as you're beginning to lower, maybe past those blocks, feel that lovely length into the calves, up through the backs of the legs, into the ankles. And feel how you're having to really keep that weight firmly into your toes. You're having to really scoop out through the belly to support here. So you can't arch. We're not allowed, we're not able, if we arch and throw our weight back, then we'll just fall off. So keep this gentle lean, or this small lean forward from the ankles. Good. A few more times. And again, feel how this is really going to work the glutes, the legs, testing your balance. And then slowly, stepping off. Amazing, really good. So hopefully you feel the legs working quite a lot. You feel the core, the glutes, everything really engaged. And now from here, I want you to take your blocks, just step them to the side, in any way or in any space that feels good. We're just going to come into a standing position. And now I just want you to close your eyes. So we've worked through a lot of that kind of balance where we're throwing ourselves off. We're trying to find that equilibrium no matter what position, no matter where we're going with our body. And we're trying to find that place of strength, that place of integration, that core where this movement, this balance comes from. And so now just in your stillness in your body, just begin to try and find it. And now maybe just feel this gentle ease of the breath in your body. This gentle ease from this connection of the feet all the way up to the crown of your head. And we're going to inhale, draw the arms high. And we're going to exhale, release forward. Bend in the knees if you need. Inhale and level. And then exhale, release. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more times. Inhale. And exhale. Maybe even begin to add a little toe raise, a little heel raise here. Inhale. And then exhale. Good. 1 more time. Inhale. Exhale. Releasing down from here. Inhale, plant the hands and begin to draw the chest forward. And then we're going to start to shift the weight now into the palms. So maybe shift back fully onto your mat if you come off. Inhale, release it back into the feet. And then exhale, place or move the weight forward into the hands. And again, just begin to feel this gentle rock with your breath. As you begin to shift back and then forward. And each time we're really feeling this press into the ground, this integration into the shoulders, lifting up through the belly, trying to shift the weight out to the feet and into the arms. Good. For another 2. And for another 1. And now we're going to do this again, but now we're going to start to shift the weight into just 1 foot. maybe lifting one foot off. And then we're going to bend. And we're going to shift. Now, if you're really struggling to put your hands on the floor, you can use blocks, or you just bend your knees, even if you're in this position, and that's fine. As long as you're trying to get those hips high, that's all that matters. Just keep shifting the weight now into the arms, lifting those feet, lifting all the way up. Good, a few more times. Good, and then down. Nice, last time, squeeze that right foot up. Come as high onto that toe as you can. Lift the hips as high as you can. And then slowly step your right foot back. Good. From here, I want you to inhale, begin to shift the weight fully into your feet. Lift your arms up, take a gentle extension, and then we're going to release the hands back down, plant, and shift that left leg back to meet, coming into your plank. From here, begin to bend the knees, we're going to shift back. Starting to move through the body, ripple forward, bending or placing the legs down if you need, otherwise form chaturanga. We're going to inhale, lift up. Upward dog or cobra, exhale, press back through your plank. Feel this weight lift, this weight shift into the feet and the hands. And then release down. So everything we do is a balance, everything that we do is a shift of weight. Just even standing is a counterbalance of sorts. And it's really interesting when you start to play with this. We're constantly moving through balance, having to rebalance ourselves, having to adjust, to change, to alter. So when we look at our movements like that, when we look at our life like that, balance change is not actually that hard to achieve because we're doing it. We're doing it every day. From here, lifting from the toes, bend the knees, turn the gaze forward. I want you to jump or step your feet to the front. Good. From here, we're going to inhale. Lift all the way up, reach through the fingertips. Draw your hands high. And then we're going to exhale, release back down. Whew. Good. We're going to inhale. Exhale, plant forward. Nice. Now this time we're going to lift the left toe. We're going to hold it here as we did before. Squeeze that heel in. And then we're going to slowly step it back. Good. From here, try and shift your weight into your feet. Lift up into your high lunge. Find this connection through the feet. And then release the hands down. Step back, find your plank. We're going to bend the knees, shift back, baby child. And then we're going to draw ourselves forward, chaturanga, all the way to the ground. We're going to inhale, lift up into your up dog or your cobra. And then lowering back through your chaturanga, plank, press back into your downward facing dog. And again, just begin to play with this balance, the shift. Really nice. Starting here, moving here with the body into the body. Good. Now in this position, we're going to slowly begin to ground down through the right hand. We're going to shift the weight into that left foot and draw the left fingers into the centre of the mat. Now all I want you to do is to begin to lift that right leg off. So I don't need the leg to be straight. I don't need it to be lifted really high. All I want is for it to just be off the ground. So it can even just be hovering like this, nice and straight. And as you do this, I want you to feel now a nice extension or an activation into your right shoulder. And I want you to maybe try and hover or draw those left fingertips to the side body or to the waist. And now from here, we're going to just circle that left foot. Good. So this is going to be fairly tricky. You might even need to turn that left foot out very slightly to give yourself a bit more of a foundation. Good, and maybe try and make those movements a little bit bigger. You can take that left hand down if you need. Otherwise, keep it lifted. Really nice. Oh, this is tough, guys. And then slowly maybe trying to lift it all the way up, and we're just going to hold here. In this balance, in this place, before setting your left arm down and drawing yourself onto your right fingertips again. Keep that right leg lifted. Now from here I want you to open your hip. We're going to slowly start to almost transfer into a variation or a really lifted side plank in some way. Keep the shoulder back, so it's a mixture between a side plank and a 2 point of contact down dog actually. It's not really anything, but find this balance now. And then release the hand down. Good. And then from here, begin to ground. And we're going to begin to shift the weight forward now into the hands and draw that knee into our chest. And then we're going to shift it back. Good, we're going to maybe try and open once more. Maybe try and take that 2 point of contact. If you fall, you can style it out into a little wild thing. Otherwise, try and stay here, lifting up. You can even turn that left foot into your full side plank. And then we're going to replace it down, swivel the foot, and draw it into chest. So we're just playing with different positions of the body. You can try and stay in your down dog with the toes pointing forward. Or you can turn the foot out. So I'm finding a little bit more stability in that position. But it doesn't really matter. It's whatever feels good for you. Really nice. And just working that left glute one more time. Beginning to work here. I'm going to try it in my down dog now. Yes. Finding the stability here. Now slowly place that right finger down. I want to bend in that left leg and we're going to scoop that right foot back and behind. So now we're going to sit the butt down almost like we're going into a little seated position. The right knee is bent. The left foot and the left hand is grounded. And then we're going to inhale, lift the arm up, come into your wild thing. Fantastic. Really breathe here. Find the stability into your left shoulder, and then begin to slowly release back through that side plank and draw that right foot as close to the front of the mat as you can. We're just going to come into this lunge now, and I just want you to find this little movement as we shift the weight, firmly grounding into our feet. We're just going to do that transition again. So we're going to plant that left hand down. We're going to begin to spiral, maybe bending that knee, lowering it down, and then lifting up. Finding this full extension, spending as long as you need before shifting the weight and slowly stepping that right foot to the front or as close to the front of the mat as you can. Again, the same thing. Move a little bit here. Good. So you really want to feel how the body is integrating and is moving with this. And again, it doesn't matter how you look. I don't care if you have to sit down, step the foot around, lift those hips. Then if you have to sit, step that foot back, rotate, step, lift. If that's your journey, that's your journey. But move through it. Good. Try and do as much of the transition as you can before adapting or modifying. And then slowly on that last time, we're going to plant both fingertips down, come into this lunge position. And we're going to inhale, draw the arms up, shifting now fully into our high lunge. And now here I want to bend that front knee, stacking the knee over the ankle, sending your left hip forward. So we're really finding this integration into the core one more time, the ribs to hips. Pull the lower belly in. And now we're going to start to bend, begin to shift the weight slightly back. And then extend. Yes, feel that lovely opening. Make sure that right knee is opening out to the side. So we're not allowing in any way for the knee to be buckling in. We want to be activating it out, working into that glute. And then up. Good. Maybe 2 more times. Bending. And then straightening that back leg. Finally, last time, bending. Good. Hold here. Hover that left foot. Throw that left knee off the ground. Come into your lunge. And then gently we're going to release the foot down. And we're going to take our hands onto the ground. And from here, just allow yourself to release. Good. Now from here, we're going to work again. A little bit of balance. So I want you slowly begin to draw yourself back up. And from here, we're going to start to draw that knee in. And we're going to take it out to the side. We're going to draw it in, and we're going to step it back. We're going to draw it in, and we're going to take it out to the side. We're going to draw it in, and we're going to step. Feeling this shift, you might even need to take that left arm out. So we're going to draw it in, we're going to take it out to the side, maybe even lowering that left arm down, trying to keep that right leg lifted. Lift, and place it back. Good. Feel how the body is having to really stabilize through this movement to really control the balance of our body. One more time. Release. Step it out to the side. Fantastic. Find this extension. You can release the leg down, untap the toe. So you're in this supported side plank. And then from here, everyone lift that leg off if you need. And we're just going to find gentle circles. My chin sideways so you can see. Gentle circles of this thigh. Good. So we're reaching the arms up. Keep lengthening in through the abdominals. So really pull the belly back. Good. Now from here, squeeze that heel in towards the glute. Reach the foot towards it. And maybe just take a little extension, opening up. Nice. Maybe even turn the gaze forward or towards the foot. And then from here, release. Allow yourself to now slowly draw that leg up, up, up. And then place it out in front of you. You should be facing the front of your mat one more time. Good. And then from here, we're going to slowly begin to sit down and over that back foot. We're going to draw that left foot in towards the side of the body, opening that knee out. Now, all I want you to do from here is we're going to start to shift weight. So I want you to lift that leg up. I want you to slowly roll, and I want you to draw yourself into a little whirl thing. You're going to fold down, and you're going to reach forward and almost try and shift up and into a little pistol squat. We're going to plant, extend and lift. We're going to release it down, shift and lift. So if you need your blocks, this is what we're going to do. So we're going to plant the blocks and you can shift forward and lift, using the upper body as well as the lower body. Good. But if you can do it without, try and shift forward and lift without. One more time. Fantastic. And lift up. Really nice. Now from here, I'm going to shift the butt back. I want you to draw that right leg, that left leg long. Again, you can keep the blocks next to you. Otherwise, we're just going to start to scissor those legs. So again, feeling the shift of weight now into the sit bones, into Anavasana. If you need to bend the knees, you can do this as well. So we're just kind of cycling through those legs. So you can keep the legs long or straight. Doesn't really matter. Again, if you need to hold on to something for support, you can. Place the hands onto the floor as well. For another 5, 4, 3, 2, cross the feet. Begin to roll forward and begin to lower down through your plank, your chaturanga, and onto the mat. Good. From here, we're going to shrug up, lift into your baby cobra or your up dog. So I really want you to feel a nice lift. We're not collapsing to the shoulders. Shoulders away from ears, lift through the chest, pull the lower belly up, support into your lower back, energize out to the front of your legs. And then from here, we're just going to start to shift forward and peel that right leg up, and then press up and away. And the same thing over the other side, fold forward, peel the left leg up, and then press up and away. Good, a few more times, peel down, and lift, and peel down. Good, and lift. Knock all those blocks over if you need. One more time. You're going to hopefully feel this really working. Good. Actively peel that leg up, easing up through the spine, the shoulders. And then slowly from here, coming back into your extension. Tap the toes, release down, press up into your plank. Draw in through the lower belly, and then sit back. Downward facing dog. And now we're going to start to play on the other side. So again, I want you to now ground through that left hand. Feel the right foot begin to root into your mat and take your right fingertips into the center of your mat. From here, begin to just slowly circle your left foot. Amazing. Keep drawing up through the lower belly. Scoop through the abdominals. Find this movement, and maybe if you can, begin to draw that right arm off fully. Good. And don't worry if the balance isn't here all the time. Again, that's just like life, really. We're never fully balanced 24/7, otherwise we would never have to find balance, because we'd never shift out. So that's the thing, it's this idea of we always have ebbs and flows, we always have little mini movements. Good, maybe try and lift that leg a little higher. And that's all absolutely fine. It's how we adjust, it's how we respond to those micro balances, those micro movements. Good. Come into your 2 point of contact. And then release that right hand down this time. Keep that left leg long and extended. And then from here, maybe try and open that left hip up and take that left arm off. And again, just breathe here. So again, feel how the glute, if you fall, that's fine. Style it out into your wild thing. It's all about learning and finding our edge. Good. Find this balance here. Fantastic. And then slowly, really nice, draw it down and lift the knee up and into chest. We're going to do that again. We're going to take it back. Maybe this time try it into a side plank variation. So really feeling the glute work now. And then drawing that knee up and into nose. And maybe last time, shifting, opening. Good. Really nice. And then from here, we're going to step forward and lower that left leg in between the hands. Fantastic. Now from here, I want you to very slowly just rock back and forth. And now we're going to do that full transition that we did on the other side. So we're going to work that balance. We're going to start to go from our lunge into our wild thing. So we're going to plant that right hand down, extend through that right leg. We're going to start to slowly lift that left leg up and around. We're going to place it down, maybe sink the hips if you need, and then lift yourself into your full wild thing. Good. From here we're going to shift back into that right hand, peel that left leg all the way up and around, and then step the foot to the front. Again, don't worry if you can't do all of that, just do as much as you can. Begin to shift. Maybe you might even feel that you can land straight into your wild thing. So then lift, and lift straight out, all the way around. Again, play with this. Explore where your body goes, where your edge is. Really amazing. Do it one more time for me. Wherever you want to go, lift, move into that wild thing. And then slowly begin to shift it back. Lowering that foot as gently as you can to the front of your mat. Amazing. Now from here, we're going to plant through the feet. We're going to inhale. I want you to lift all the way up and into your high lunge. Again, knit into your ribs. Draw your belly in. And just feel this opening, this engagement of your core. Really good. Breathe into this space. And then from here, we're just going to slowly bend the knee. And then we're going to extend it up. Good. We're going to bend the knee. And we're going to extend it up. A couple more times. Bend that knee. Extend it up. Wonderful. Bend it. Hold it here. Feel that shift to balance. Feel that stabilization of the hips. And then lower that leg down. Woo. And again, just begin to release now into your Ardha Hanuman or your gentle low lunge. Good. So from here, we're going to start to play again with that weight shift. So I'm going to turn to face the camera without knocking everything over. Just so that it's more clear for you. But you can stay at the front of your mat. So from here, we're going to lift up. We're going to find this balance. And I want you to slowly begin to draw up through the belly, lift that left leg in, and then maybe take it out. Good. We're going to lift it up and in, and then we're going to extend it forward. Good. And again, feel the belly, feel the hips lift. Find this balance, and then extend it out. Good. Lift, and then drop it down. Good. Now note how if you're keeping this torso high, this outward movement's actually really hard because we haven't got any counterbalance. So we're having to really use the strength in that left hip to lift, or the outer thigh, the upper glute, to abduct, or able to hold that leg in that position. Good. So now what I want you to do, and you can see I'm falling all over the place as well, so don't worry if you are. We're going to be drawing that knee up. Now I want you to slowly reach or release the arm out. Good. Now we're going to start to lift up and then draw it back. Now maybe try and not put that right hand on the ground. Release. So now find this balance here as we release out. Yes. Good. Draw it in and release. Nice. My right side is definitely not as good as my left, but that's why we practice these things. Last time. Release it out. Good. Hold here. Wherever you are. Now release that hand down. You can have the left foot on the ground. I am sweating, so I hope you are too. And we're going to start to draw that right leg up and in line with your right hip. And then from here, we're just going to circle. Good. So this movement now, this activation of your upper glute, so it's your glute med, mainly, that's being worked here. This is going to help with all of that balance work that we were just doing. So this little isolated glute exercise is not only working into this, the right pelvis here to stabilize and lift this hip, but also the left leg to circle. Good. One more time. Really nice. Whew. And then we're going to slowly draw it back in. We're going to extend it out in front. Good. Now from here you should be facing the front of your mat. We're going to sit that butt down. And we're going to shift over that back leg. And we're just going to allow that right leg to release out. And you should feel a little bit of an ease into that upper glute. That's been working so very hard. Really nice. And now from here, I just want you to slowly begin to lift this leg in. And we're going to place our left hand onto the ground. And we're going to start to slowly lift up. Good, and into a little wild thing lift. And then we're going to release down, and we're going to shift forward and see if we can come into that pistol squat. We're going to release, and we're going to lift. So we're extending through the hip here, and then we're going to slowly shift now into that foot and try and lift. Now if you need, use your blocks. Pop them down next to you, okay? They're there to help. They're there to help you find this balance. And also don't worry if you can't lift that leg. If you're here, and you're lifting up, and you're coming even onto a bit of a toe tip, and this is as far you can't lift this leg off, doesn't matter. All I want you to do is to feel this shift forward of the body, and that lift of the butt is going to come with time. It's going to come with an intention and just practicing this movement. So just do this a few more times, lifting those hips. And then releasing down, trying to feel that weight shift forward to lift, and then down. Good, last time. Lifting up, and then releasing it down, and then shifting it forward if you can, or taking those blocks and pressing up. Yes. Now from here, we're going to do that same leg lift, but now I'm going to add in a little option for those that want something a little bit more dynamic, and I'm going to add in a roll. So again, it's this idea of shifting weight. So in this position, you're extending, lengthening through the back of the leg, activating into the core, and we're balancing on our butts. Now, if you can, what we're going to do instead, if you want, we're going to extend that leg out. We're going to roll back. We're going to change, and we're going to come up. We're going to roll up, try and hold here in your Navasana, and then we're going to release back down. Good. Hold, and release back down. You're going to take the arms out in front of you. Good. Now we're just going to do this a couple of times. So if you don't want to do the roll, if you've got issues with your back or there's something that's stopping you, no worries. Just keep holding and doing those leg switches. Otherwise, we're going to do 5 more. Roll back and hold. Roll back, switch and hold. Good. Roll back and hold. And again, don't worry if you don't always come up. Sometimes we block our momentum a little bit. Sometimes we're not quite engaging in the right way. It doesn't matter. Good. Last time. Pausing at the top, wherever you are. Amazing. Now from here we're going to cross the feet. We're going to now roll forward, and we're going to come through one more time into our vinyasa of choice. This time lifting into up dog, and then we're going to send it back and into our downward facing dog. Good, and just breathe. And as we release here in this down dog, I want you just to begin to feel how much warmer your muscles feel. Even though we haven't done that many held stretches, feel through all that movement, feel that balance, that mobility, how much stronger and how much more supple you feel in a really energized and active way. And maybe just circle or switch out through your wrists, your knees, exploring this. And then from here, we're just going to take now a couple of shifts forward into, or like little hops forward and into our arms. So I always like to give options in my classes for inversions of some form. So in this space, I'm going to give an option for some little handstand hops. Now, if you're not comfortable taking any handstand hops, you don't have to do anything where your hips really lift that high at all. So I'm going to give different options. The first option is just to take tiny little jumps up and down. And all I want you to imagine is you're jumping your feet in and then out. So you're just beginning to shift a little bit forward and back. And everyone can do that. If you can't jump, you can step in and just step out. Again, just feeling this weight shift in the body and back. Good. Shift in and shift out. Shift in and shift out. Fantastic. Now, if you do want to take your handstand hops, we're going to slowly begin to bend, and I want you just to jump and try and land the feet as close to the hands as you can. From here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to lift, and then we're going to jump back. Most important thing here is keep your arms straight. Don't allow those elbows to bend. And I want you to press away from the ground as much as you can. Now, if you're comfortable with your inversions, what you can begin to do is to try and tuck and then land. And then the same thing here, you can begin to tuck and then land back. So beginning to take even some little time in your inverted position. Beginning to jump up and then slowly lowering. And then the same thing, beginning to jump before slowly lowering. Now if you're really scared of taking tucks, what we can do is we can step one leg in and you can extend a leg out to the back and just take some single leg little hops here. And again, this, you can begin to join the legs, you can begin to squeeze, maybe even take your handstand, maybe even switch the legs in the air. Okay, so wherever you are, whatever you're doing, just take maybe 5 or 6 more jumps, feeling the movement from the legs into the feet, finding this maybe a little hover for some time upside down, finding your balance on your hands. Great. And then we're going to jump the feet, finally we'll step them to the front of the mat. Good. And from here, I want you to toe heel your feet out to around hips width, to around mat's width. We're just going to start to slightly turn the toes out, heels in, and we're just going to sink the butt down. We're going to take our malasana, our yogi squat. Now in this position, I just want us to ease out through the hips. We're going to press our left armpit in towards our left thigh. We're just going to open that right knee out. Good, and then the same on the other side. Now if you're really tight in your malasana, what you can do is prop something under your heels. You can even come into a little bit more of a lifted position here. But all I want for you to have is a constant energy of the heels being grounded. So we're never just lifting if you don't need to. I want you to feel that you're pulling those heels towards the ground. So we're always working into the ankles, we're always working into the hips. Give it a few more times. Awesome. And then from here, we're going to plant the hands down. And I want you to now draw the feet in a little bit more. And we're going to now move from our malasana, we're going to lift up and into a little toe squat. We'll just come into another little balance here on our toes. So again, grab your blocks if you need. Place them next to you so we've got some support. Otherwise, find a flat part on your floor. Mine is a little bit bumpy, so need to shift back a bit. And then from here, all I want you to do is to try and find a balance in the space on your feet. So this in itself might be quite tricky. This might be quite difficult for you. And that's fine. There's no bad or good in this. It's just about you exploring where your body is and where your movement is. And then maybe what you might want to do is just begin to just lower 1 knee to the floor at a time. And as you're doing this, begin to feel a nice length moving into the front of your hips. Good. Really start to open. Feel the work into the feet as you're doing this as well. So we're giving our toes a nice flexion exercise. Really good. And then from here, maybe then begin to drop both feet down and then lift. Begin to drop both feet or both knees down and then lift. Really working into that dorsiflexion of the toe joint. Lovely. A few more times. And we're also working the deep abdominals to draw or to flex those hips again. Squeeze here to lift those legs back up. Yes, good. A few more times doing that now. Good. And then maybe you can begin to sink the heels down. So we're going into a formalasana now. We're lifting forward, maybe even lifting the hips, sinking back down into our formalasana. And you can maybe do this and lift the hips. Release. Malasana. Ground. Ground and lift. Release. Malasana. And just play with this. Play with these movements of all of your ankles, your knees, your hips, your belly. Just play with whatever variations feel good and whatever variations you want to do that challenge you and send you maybe out of this little box of movement that you're comfortable with and try something new. So really beginning to maybe try and lift. You can even maybe shift between each of these movements, shift up and down, taking our traditional asana and adding some different challenges to them, yeah? All of these types of things you can even try and lift into an active uttanasana before gently lowering back down and adding all of these shifts of weight into the body, moving through and into your movement practice. Before slowly coming back down, we're going to meet one more time on our toes. Amazing. Now from here, we're going to start to add in a little bit more balance now. So take your blocks if you need. And from here, I want you to start to try and take your right leg out in front of you and hold. And then draw it back in. And again, the same thing. Your ankles are probably going, oh my God, Aurora, let me off my feet, please. So if you need to take a break, please do. But otherwise, we're going to keep shifting and working. Amazing. Shifting and working. Good. Now from here, maybe try and find this without support. Good. Really pulling up. Feeling the support into the ankle. Good. A few more times here in your own time. And then slowly from here, we might even start, if you've got your hands on your blocks to begin, taking that leg out. And then from here, maybe trying to curl it underneath and kick it back into a supported or a propped warrior three. We're going to bend the knee, send it through, release it back. Good, so we're now building up to something which I really love. Maybe even dropping down into a pistol squat. You see, we're linking everything, extending it back. Good, last time. Dropping it down, maybe lifting it back up and releasing. Good, and now we're going to try on the other side. So the same thing, we're going to try and lengthen through and onto that right heel. Maybe trying to lower into that pistol squat, lifting back and extending. Good. You can try and lessen the support that you have with your blocks and try and do this just with balance. Good. Which is a real challenge into that supporting leg, I will say. Good, one more time, extend it out. Releasing down. Whew, and then allow the butt to fall. And just give your legs a little bit of a circle out. Awesome work. So, What I'm now been moving to is this whole movement of shifted weight through the body. The main thing of this whole class is going to be a little sequence, and it's just going to be a little bit of fun for you to explore. Okay, so we're going to move through warriors or warrior three. We're going to move through maybe add in a little couple of inversions. It's all going to be about shifting of weight. So in this position, we're going to start. We're going to start on our backs, and we're going to do this little bit of a rock and roll like we were doing before. Really nice. Now, what we're going to do is from here we're going to rock. We're going to allow the left leg to ground, and we're going to lift up using our momentum into this pistol squat, and we're going to try and extend that leg back into our warrior three, exactly as we did before. From here we're going to lower down. We're going to inhale. We're going to shift that weight back, stand, good, and then extend back through another warrior three. From here we're going to lift, we're going to find this balance, we're going to release down, release forward, maybe take a little kick into a handstand before releasing down. Woo. And releasing onto the next side, plant that right foot down. Oh, you might even need a couple of movements to get it, and that's fine. Shift through into your warrior three. Lower down, lift up into your high lunge. You can circle the arms, bend the knee. Find this lift as we extend back. Take this final movement, extend that leg out. Good, and then we're going to lift back. And we're going to step, lunge forward, maybe take a little handstand or two. From here, we're going to release that leg through, and we're going to roll. So we're going to do it again. We're going to lift, find this extension back. We're going to slowly release, high lunge, bend, do whatever you need to switch that weight into that back leg. We're going to release back. Wonderful. From here, dive forward, find this lunge, maybe take a little inversion, maybe try and even hold at the top before releasing it down, and we're going to repeat this for about 3 to 4 times, okay? So just keep going through it, working your way through this piece slowly and easily. So I was on my left leg, wasn't I? Good. And just do this in your own time, trying to lift it up, releasing. Good, you can even maybe keep the leg bent in your warrior. Explore different shapes, challenge your balance. Really nice. Kick, find, before slowly releasing it down. Constantly looking to shift weight, constantly looking to play. You can even take or add in another little inversion before lifting up into your high lunge. A little extension here before extending back. Really nice. Bend the knee. Find, explore the balance. Dive forward, maybe an arrow lunge. Good. Or slowly lifting up and then releasing down. Whew. Really nice. So as you're doing this, maybe try it once more on each side. I really want you to explore this. Take your time and just feel how the body is moving from position to position. And if you don't know the sequencing, if you're like, I'm lost, move however you think it is. Do whatever you think is right. And it doesn't matter, because you're still going to be shifting weight. You're still going to be moving, even if it's not the pattern that I'm giving you. It'll be a pattern of your choice, of your creation. So explore this. Really good. And just try it for maybe one more time. I'll do it one more time with you all. Releasing back. Good. Planting down. Lifting that leg. I'm going to take another little handstand hop here before circling back, finding my grounding, and then jumping. Good. Really trying to add a little bit of dynamic work. It's what I love doing at the moment. Good. Find this balance. I'm kicking my bookshelf, which is off camera, but it's all fine. All about challenging ourselves. Lower down. Good. Really nice. From here, maybe ground. Find a little kick. Maybe even try and do a few. Maybe even trying to find some balance before lowering and releasing, whew, onto your back. Good. And wherever you are, make your way to the end of your sequence. Come to a grounded position on your spine. Whew. And just allow yourself to just maybe windmill the knees from side to side. Begin to maybe shift. So in all of those movements, we're building such a strong stability and mobility in the body. But on top of that, what we're doing is we're also building a fluidity within our breath. We're not fixating on one particular movement, but instead we're allowing it to become a sequence of flow. And that's one of the ways I love to teach. I love breaking and isolating and working through specific movements to strengthen, but then we need to link, we need to join them back together, because that's the way that we are in life, that's the way that we work. We don't work one movement at a time, it's a continual flow of time, of movement, of thought, of breath. Fantastic. Now from here, if you feel ready, maybe just allowing the legs to draw in. And in this position, just begin to plant the feet down. And I want us just to move through a couple of glute bridges. Maybe allowing the arms to release down, engage through the hips. And you can challenge yourself in any way here. If you're tired now and you're like, I just want to chill, you can even just take a block at a lowish height and just allow the hips to release, maybe even lengthening the legs out in front. Just creating a nice length through the front of the body, through the front of the hips. Otherwise, stay in your glute bridge. Lift the hips nice and strongly. And maybe as we move through lifts and lowers of those hips, you can even begin to move into your Ardha Dhanurasana, your wheel pose. Allowing yourself a gentle release. Try not to push too much into the back here, but instead focus on extending through the shoulders first, opening through or lengthening through the arms. Give it just a few more times, lifting up. Maybe holding at the top when you feel your breath there. And then bending the knees, releasing, bending the elbows and releasing the back onto the mat. Just allow the feet to drop firmly into the ground. And then from here, just allow yourself to once more windmill the knees. Maybe even take a full supine twist, dropping the left shoulder across, feeling this wonderful release through the whole waist. And then the same on the other side, just spiraling round and through. Really good. A few more movements here. And then gently, maybe drawing the knees into chest. Maybe threading the feet to the hands and drawing the thighs down towards the ground. From here, just slowly begin to rock from side to side. Maybe moving into a happy baby, maybe playing with lengthening or straightening those legs. Being nice and gentle in this position. Before drawing the feet together, maybe allowing the feet to connect, opening the knees out, allowing yourself to release into a reclined Baddha Konasana. Now, if you want to stay in this position for your Shavasana, I'd recommend putting maybe some blocks underneath the thighs to support the knees at their opening. So around 70% of your flexibility. Allow those legs to be supported. Otherwise, if you want to move, allow the knees to lengthen, allow the legs to drop. Open the feet to fall towards the floor. And just open your arms out to the sides, drawing in a full breath. And just allow yourself to release here. Allow yourself to surrender into this space. And allow yourself now to come back to this breath pattern. This box breathing. A full inhale. Hold at the top. And then full exhale. Hold at the bottom. Inhale. And hold. Exhale. And hold. Inhale. Exhale. Just allow your breath to circulate in this way. Dropping into your body. Connecting into the earth. And allowing you to feel fully grounded, fully connected. Allowing you to feel stable, supported, and held in this space. Slowly deepening back into the breath and the body here. And maybe feel this lift of the chest, the belly to expand the breath fully in through the abdominals and the ribs. And then maybe allow the fingers and the toes to gently move in a circle. And maybe begin to feel this breath drawing up through into the feet, the hands, the arms, the legs. And you can maybe take your arms overhead, reaching along. Maybe bending the knees or reaching straight through the toes. Feel this full length of the body. Before slowly allowing yourself to just roll onto one side, maybe resting the head onto your tricep, onto your arm. And just taking as long as you need in this position. Allowing yourself to be in your breath, be in this space. Before slowly in your own time, allowing yourself to draw back up into a seated position, closing the eyes. And just again coming into this breath, coming into your body. Allowing yourself to fully release, to fully breathe. And begin to just feel this connection we've created, this connection into yourself, this grounding into yourself. Feel the stability, this breath, this ability to move, to change, to balance, to find that balance no matter where or what we're doing. And slowly from here, we're going to inhale. Draw your fingertips high, reach through your hands. And then exhale, draw your thumbs into your forehead. Take a moment here to just find this connection. Before slowly bowing forward, exhaling the breath into the earth. Sending out your gratitude and your thanks for sharing your practice today. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this class, this practice, I guess this sharing of mine. It's one of my more playful classes. So if you did enjoy, please feel free to check out my other classes. I've got lots of options where you can learn, where you can follow live through a class, as well as more pre-recorded workouts and pre-recorded practices, asana practices of all different movement types. So if you are interested, please follow me on my socials, on Instagram, Facebook. You can find my emails on all of those. Feel free to reach out and contact me as well. I'm always here to help. I'm always happy to help anyone that has practiced with me or anyone that hasn't and is interested in it as well, to better or to explore their movement practice in as many ways as they can. So feel free to let me know if this is something you're interested in. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed today. I hope you enjoy the many other classes that we have on offer. And yes, have a wonderful rest of your weekend or rest of the time that you're here practicing. Thank you so much and enjoy.